Man, I'm excited to see so many of you here tonight. Thank you. One day you'll be sitting up here, so that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Thank you for being here. Looking at the agenda, is there any changes to the agenda?
The only thing would be if you want to put it in as a number as far as that we need to go into a closed session before we go into 9.6, just so that the personnel committee can update the board. It's probably, if we have a crowd here, it's probably easiest if we just go to the conference room or at the high school instead of having everybody else get up and then come back here for it.
Can we move that to 9.6 as going into closed session, and then can we change it to 9.7?
We can do that.
Okay.
And the reason, Amy, will be for consideration of charges.
Got it. Okay. Any other changes to the agenda? Okay. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. We will move on to the middle school. Avid
Right,
teachers.
tonight we're going to hear from our Avid Tech Prep 6 class, our Avid 7 class, and our Avid STEAM class. And you have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders here and their teachers. And you have students that have been here since they were in kindergarten. Raise your hand if you're kindergarten. Raise your hand if you're new this year. So we have a little bit of a representation from just the whole experience at DGF. So I am going to turn it over to them and let them do their thing.
Well, I'll go first because the Avid music video that you're about to see is from the 7th grade Avid class. We do a competition of making a music video. They can pick any song. They have to change the lyrics and present the ideas of what Avid is and what Avid represents. Is it right? 8th grade and 7th grade.
So you have to just trim your chairs a while.
And I'll see if I can play.
It's like too much.
And these are the winners. We had a vote of 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. They do a vote, and these are the winners. They did a fantastic job. Oh, can we hear it?
Yeah.
And help me get to
need to get my grades up. I need to get my grades up. Even if I still have mark left, I think I'll get my grades up. I need to get my grades up. And all because of Avid. It helped me get to college. It helped me get the grades I need. Always go to Avid. I want to see you there. And know that makes to come there. Know that means to come there. Lately, I've been thinking I need to get my grades up. I need to get my grades up. So I'll go. I will go.
And we don't need to see the papers, do we? Oh, maybe we do. Ouch. There we go. So that's the 7th grade Avid. With the technology that we have, they did a fantastic job. I can't recall if you used your computer or your cell phones, the cell phones. And they did all the editing themselves and made the lyrics and created the vision that is the video. So that is Georgia, Alexis, Marin, and Abigail. They're the 7th grade team that created the video. Did you want us to start talking first about Avid, or should we just go right into
No, go ahead, but if you want to share.
Okay. So, who would like to go first?
I can.
Thank you, Abby.
Stand up.
Thank you. Yep.
Up in the center.
Right there.
Do you want to be there, sure, or here?
So in Avid we do a pennant race, which is where all students get 2 to 3 states, and we email each college from that state to get a pennant and information about their college. And when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian or go into psychology. And I have decided on either Maine Maritime Academy, which they have an amazing marine biology program, or UCLA.
Mario, you want to try? Okay.
So in Avid, we pretty much, like, every day we share, and so you just share what you did over the weekend or like what you did last night, and it really like helps to be open to people. And then we do an activity like a game, or we work on stuff. Like today we watched a video on like negativity and stuff, and we are working on our essay for like descriptive writing.
You can say your first and last name when you just taught there.
I'm Mara Craig.
And Mark, what do you want to do?
I want to travel when I'm older. I don't really like have a certain college in mind yet, but I want to do something in like the traveling career.
Thank you.
Georgia, you want to go? Go ahead.
I'm Georgia Garski, and some things we do in Avid are play games. Like we've done the Bird Box Challenge, where you have to be blindfolded and walk around. And one of my favorites is the one where you hold a bandana, put a cup on top, upside down in a marble, and you have to walk around the room with a group of friends, try not to drop the marble.
And that teaches the collaboration and communication as they had to figure out ways. What do you want to do?
I want to be a photographer for National Geographic, and I was looking at Concordia College.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
My name is Alexis Miller, and in Avid we do this thing called a Socratic seminar, where there is one group in the middle of 6 to 8 people, and they all talk about a certain topic. And then there's also the fire seat, where people can come from the outside, where all the others listen and page through if they have pages of the topic. And if you really want to talk and you can't hold it, and you go to the fire seat and you explain what you want to say, and then go back to your seat. You just listen and we switch out like that. And yeah, every person gets talking and it's really fun.
So how do we talk? Explain how we talk as a group.
So we are very respectful, because if you're not respectful, it just kind of, yeah, it doesn't work. So if someone says something, then, I don't know, and then the other person will be like, I agree, or I disagree, or I want to add to this, or something like that. And when I grow up, I want to be something in the filming industry, like a director or something, and I'm looking at the San Francisco Film School.
And what else, all the other things that we do is practice taking notes, and it's not just taking the notes as we did today, we practice, it's about the quality of notes and helping you be successful in retaining that information, as well as being prepared for tests and quizzes. And that's I think the most difficult part is learning what is quality compared to just writing notes because my teacher said so. And we're just really preparing what career options. This year we did a field trip at the Washington State School of Science, which was incredible, opening up eyes to not only the four-year degree, but the careers at the two-year degree level. And a lot of individuals looking at the LPN, mechanics, electrician, welding. We were told that welders coming out of Washington, starting salary is $90,000. So it's opening up a lot of eyes of opportunities for everyone, which is fantastic. And if we didn't have Avid, I don't think we would have that opportunity to share with the students on what their life could be and how to be successful.
Move on to 6th grade. So my 6th graders, if you guys want to come stand over there, I'll give you one of these. This is just some information. 6th grade actually is called Avid Prep Tech 6. So not only do we do the Avid curriculum, but we also do the technology part of things. So a little bit of both. And you can take a look at this. It just basically tells you all the different components of what we cover. So from collaboration and communication, I love that they say we play games. We do, but at the end we debrief and we try to basically develop a family. We want to have a safe environment. We talk about how to communicate, how to make it so that we are basically playing these games in a respectful way. So it feels like fun, but in the long run there's a lot of skills being taught. Also doing a lot of exploring for beyond high school. Number one line I hear from 6th graders is, why are we learning about careers in 6th grade? Yeah, it's new. It's not really common to do that, but I keep sharing with them how much I wish I would have been able to do this in 6th grade. I would have been much more prepared than my senior year of all of a sudden trying to figure out what to do. So we have lots of things for the future already planned, so they'll share those with you. We do a lot of goal setting in 6th grade, learning how to set SMART goals. And then, of course, all the tech stuff. So the keyboarding and other technology skills, from learning how to create a presentation to Google Docs and shortcuts on the keyboards. And then you'll notice at the bottom there's a big graphic organizer. That is the heart and soul of Avid. It's called WICR, and it stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading. So I won't read those to you, but you can see pretty much everything you see on the list there we do in Avid at all levels, just at varying degrees. So, start us off. Amy, you are going to go first. Introduce yourself first and then share with us what 6th grade Avid is all about.
So my name's Amy Schramm. Avid has taught me a lot about kindness, typing, careers, and just overall being respectful and stuff like that. With organization also. I use kindness a lot to communicate with people and find out different things about how things work and working in groups and stuff like that. In the future, I might use typing if I have to write like an essay for my professor or something, or I have to type out a research project. Organization, I use now, and I'll probably use in the future also, because my life's kind of a mess without it. And then I will use my respectfulness to possibly get into the job I would like to do, which is taking care of children, like being a daycare provider from infant to like 12 or something like that. Either that or being a teacher for the younger grades, because they're always learning new things, and I want to be a part of helping them shape their future and become who they want to be.
I'm Daisy Jones, and an Avid has taught me how to send a proper email, like the body and the intro and stuff. And also we learned how to code and program a Sphero, and we learned how to type in typing club. But in Avid, we have certain ways to type club. We have to put paper over our hands, and to test out of it, we have to take a typing test. We have to get 30 words per minute. And we learned how to use a spreadsheet to keep track of your money so you don't waste your money on dumb stuff. And also we learned how to see if a source is reliable or not, like if it has a bias, link blocked, and if it has a reasonable publish date. And my plans after high school are to go to Stanford and major in something medical.
I'm Gavin Autry, and in Avid we learn how to type faster, how to take good notes, and like we're researching a lot of careers. We just finished that, and we learned how to see if a site is credible or not, and how to question using deeper thinking. And I hope to go to like NDSU and major in something music or be like an engineer.
Hi, my name is Tamara Anderson, and Avid has taught me a lot of stuff, but I can only say a few of them. So, 2 things I've learned in Avid are how to see if a source is credible or not, which will be really helpful, and how to be a good digital citizen. 2 things we've done in Avid are career exploration, which I really enjoyed, and I thought it was very interesting because I learned about a bunch of jobs that I never really knew existed, and I learned way more about them. We also did a life simulation, and that was, that was interesting. The last thing that I learned that really stuck with me, and I think all kids in my grade or my age should know, is to start thinking about your future now rather than later for 2 reasons. One, because when you get to high school, it's that last week or year of high school, you'll know what you want to do, and you won't be freaking out not knowing what you want to do. And 2, I feel like you'll have more confidence going into that first day of college because you've known you wanted to do it for a very long time. So you'll have more confidence in going into that. So my plans after high school are to go to UCLA and major in the arts or music.
Thank you guys. Actually, you guys want to come up with Pens of Destiny real quick? We thought we'd get you out for your seats and play a quick game. It'll take like 2 minutes. So if you would stand up and you guys fill in the circle right here. We're just going to make a big circle. You all need a highlighter. This is called Pens of Destiny, and it's one of our favorites. It's quick and easy. We do it to just kind of work as a team. We brainstorm things that we can do to make it better and easier, and what we can do to make everybody feel safe while we're playing the game. And I'll let you guys show them how to start. So you want to link up and show them what it's supposed to look like, and then you'll have to go around the corner and join the cam. And I'll join you right here. All right, so you want to just put your finger on the end of the marker and balance it between the person you're next to. And then we do all kinds of fun things once we have it set up. All right, and we walk to our right. Without dropping.
And a purse.
And stop, and then we squat. And then we stand up, and we go as high as we can. And then we go down. And then what else do we do? How about stand on your right foot? Stand on your right foot. Stand on your left foot. All right, and then grab your markers. We'll stop there. But you get the hang of this. So we do all kinds of fun stuff around the room, and we see how long they can hold their hands in the air without getting sore arms. But then after the games like that, we debrief, and we talk about, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, how can we communicate better, and basically what other things we can do to be more of a family, to be more of a team. So, thank you, and I'll pass it on to Ingrid.
All right, our class is Avid STEAM 8, so we do a lot of the same stuff that has been talked about, but at sort of like an 8th grade level. One thing that 8th grade does a lot of is career exploration. We're looking at conflict resolution. We did a whole unit on that, how to get along with people that disagree with you. We did a lot of, let's see, a unit on multiple intelligences to see what our strengths are in terms of, you know, looking at careers. And then we do a lot of STEM stuff. So we did a lot of, what did we do? We did some computer coding. We did some 3D modeling. And we did just invest in a 3D printer. So that's been a new learning experience for everyone involved, myself included. But I have 2 of the 8th graders here that would like to talk about what Avid means to them.
Well, hello, I'm Francisco Santiago Salazar, and we learn a lot in Avid, and the main unit that we're learning right now is forensic, and you know, the normal classes, they'll do notes, and they'll do things on it, but in Avid, we'll do more than just that. We'll take notes, we'll get people involved in it, more people, like we got an officer to come in class and tell us more about the forensics. And right now, the thing that we're doing, just today, we went and did this online thing, and it talks about what is the process of finding the criminal or doing stuff with the stuff or the evidence, and trying to figure out who did it or not. And
so, what do you want to do in the future?
In the future, I'm looking forward to becoming an architect. I have no, I'm not looking for colleges right now, but in a month or 2, I might look into it.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Shyla Engelke. For one of the things we did in Avid this year, we researched colleges, and we had a group of 2 to 3 people, and we would pick a specific college in the state, and we would research whether it's a 4-year college or a 2-year college, and then we would search up the majors and minors that they provide. We would search up like the tuition costs and everything like that, and then we would also, then we made a Canva or brochure thing, and it explains all of it in one simple presentation, I guess. And then we took a lot of notes, and it was able to help us look into what kind of colleges we want to go to, and to help what different degrees can help you with your career that you plan on going to.
What do you plan on doing in the future?
After high school, I'm going to wait a year or 2 to give myself a break, and then I'm going to enlist in the Marines. And then while I'm on active duty, I'm going to enter college, because that helps with the tuition.
Can you turn around and show them the back of your shirt? I forgot to have our kiddo show. So these were designed by middle school students, the front and the back. So the back just says, "Your future's in your hands, Avid DJ Middle School, 2018-19. And we made it so every single student in the middle school received one.
Very nice.
All right, so as you can see, Avid is a class, but it's also school-wide. The Wicker strategies, the organization, the grade level teams have really made a process where they are doing the same thing across their classes, which I think really helps the kids a lot. And we're hoping that all these skills and knowledge you're getting will help them be more successful in high school and choose right courses, right pathways, things that they're interested in, and make them more focused. And so I want to thank you guys for coming. Let's give them a round of applause. To all the parents that came tonight and took the time to come tonight, thank you so much. I know this was a break in your night and extra work, but we appreciate it. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're just gonna put your plug in there, right? Yeah, just put your plug in. That's all right.
All right, we will move on to 6.1, the Activities Director's Report.
I'm handing these out. Just the recap of the winter season. Our girls 17 and 10. Our boys 19 and 10. Girls ended up opening round. We lost to Crookston. Boys made it to the semifinals, where we lost to Holly. Wrestling got the 7 seed, beat Melrose, and then ended up losing to DL in the team section for wrestling. And then this will kind of play hand in hand with dance. Dance has a tough draw just because of the section that we were in. Of the 6 teams in high kick and jazz, all 3 placed in the top 6. So it puts us in a very interesting, I guess, predicament for that. Here's every state or every school in Minnesota if you're curious on what some of them are. So they're coming out with the new activity classifications. So what this means to us is they take our number 9 through 12 enrollment and they subtract 40% of our free and reduced. It puts us at a magic number of 382. And then I kind of went through and just wrote on just some of the area schools and things like that. Then they come up with a classification and they'll take the top 32 teams and they're going to be whatever big class it is, whether it's football or basketball. It just depends on the number of classes that we have. One of the interesting finds here is you'll see that a team like Fergus Falls, 553. They compete every year. They went to state again this year. They're a 3A school. They'll now be a 2A school, which means in basketball they will be with us. In football they'll be in 3A. Previously they were in 4A. So we're going to end up taking on schools like that. It doesn't. As far as DGF is concerned, we're fine. We'll compete. We beat them in football. We're not worried, but a lot of the schools, you see the discrepancy between a small school. Breckenridge, which is 203, is the smallest 2A school there is. They will have the option to probably opt down. Pelican's a little bit bigger. They opted down last year. In order to opt down, you have to have a free and reduced population of 50%, or you have to be 10% within the cutoff. We are not in any of those, so we're kind of where we are, but this is where we've been, the last several years. It'll be interesting to find Roseau's now up in 3A for football. Before they were 2A. I'm talking with Wayne, they struggled in 2A. What are they going to try to do? Well, they're within the 10%. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to opt down. But what it is going to do is it's going to make our sections look a lot different. In fact, they recently canceled the latest meeting at the high school league because I think there's a lot of, conversations going on as far as the numbers that came out, and there'll be a lot of schools looking to opt down to get out of it. So we should have an idea. See, I wrote it down here. I want to say April 4th, I think they're going to come out with the new section placements. Is that right? Something like that. April 3rd, April 4th, they're meeting. So it'll be interesting to see where we wind up. And we always kind of go back and forth. In basketball, we were in the north. Typically, we've always been in the south. But we're right on Highway 10, so that seems to kind of fluctuate back and forth. So those are kind of the latest numbers. In another week or so, we'll have the placements for the next 2 years. They do it on a 2-year cycle. As far as numbers so far for spring, we're looking at girls track about 35, boys track 39. Softball, we're at 28, and baseball about 40. Interesting fact, Holly just came out. Holly will only be able to have a varsity team, and that is it for the first time in forever. They've got 16 girls total out for softball. Typically, that's a school that's always hosted a junior high and a JV tournament at the same time, and they've got to cancel everything. So It'll be interesting to see what our schedule looks like. Softball field looks good now, but there's a ton of snow everywhere. So we go to the conference, we'll be meeting to see what we're pushing back, how we're gonna redo things to get games in. And as always, Tracy does a huge job and helps me out tremendously with the scheduling of the gyms, because the reality is, you know, we're stuck inside for probably three to 4 weeks more than we want to be. Middle school sports, we'll delay that till about April 8th before we kick that off. That's hoping that we have a place dry outside that we can go shoot. We just don't, or that we can go play catch. We just don't have the space. So we're trying to be flexible. All the coaches are being flexible and play well together, and hopefully we see better weather here soon so we can get outside. Any questions or? Good?
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, thank you. 6.2, community ed.
Well, we'll just start off, maybe just highlighting just a couple things. Fall, winter programming for the school year is pretty much wrapping up. I think we had our last class from the fall catalog just end a week or so ago. So that's, we're closing that out. The basketball league, it seems like teams are still in the gym, like Joe says. Lots and lots of gym usage. There's just never enough space for our league. So. But we still have some teams using the gyms, but our basketball league pretty much wrapped up February 23rd with some of our last games from our 24 teams. So it went really well. We did a survey compiling all of those results, and we'll share those with our advisory council. I think it's May 8th, a Wednesday, when we have our next meeting, and then we'll share that with you all when we come back to the board in June. First LEGO League, First Tech Challenge, as a couple weeks ago you had Tara and Josh here from middle school robotics. That program has just exploded for us in community ed, so it's gone really well. We started a lot earlier this year, ended a little bit later than last year, so it was a long program. So it was, the kids were very engaged and it went well, and they did a fabulous job. Highlight just a little bit on driver's ed too. We did have our point of impact class. We offer that once a year. It's for those new students who are ready to start getting classroom and behind the wheel. We host that once a year, and it's pretty much open to anybody in the area. Free class, and we invite Jeff Lee, our SRO, in, Nicole Reno, who's a parent, who's also an SRO, and Holly, and I think Ewan hit it all. Craig Anderson, our driver's ed instructor, is there, Eileen, who does behind the wheel, and myself, and it's really just reminding parents to model good behavior when you're driving, because those habits are, kids pick up on those. So we have an hour-and-a-half class once a year, and we had 71 students who enrolled and parents there, so went really well. Classroom sessions, we have, we're in the spring session right now with classroom. We have one more session this summer that'll wrap up the 18-19 year. We have 105 students right now that have completed classroom through DGF, and of those, I just want to kind of give you some numbers. Of those 105 students, 93 of them have already completed behind the wheel through Eileen. So we are really staying on target with our behind the wheel as well. And we do already have out our 2019-20 classroom schedule for driver's ed online, so parents can sign up for that as well. Along with the March 2020 point of impact class that's out there as well also. We're once again going to do the Bike to School Day. We're going to get some of our advisory council members, some parents, and hopefully some student council reps to help us with that, where we have a fun day on May 8th. We're registered for the event, and we'll try to encourage kids to bike to school. Hopefully we have no snow. Summer rec is out, and that went out today. We'll have registrations accepted through the 15th of April. Catalogs online. We've done the school messenger, Facebook, emails, just so parents know what classes we have. We offer recreation to youth development to many, many classes. We offered one class this year that we're partnering with Code Ninjas in Fargo, and it's going to offer a coding class, building your own video game from the ground up. So that's in there as well. So we're excited about a lot of the offerings. We will have we already have scheduled the dates that applications need to be in for students who want to apply, or anybody that wants to apply for a job for summer rec. And we have the training day set also, so that they know in advance when it is the training, so they can get it on their calendar and so forth if they're looking to work with us. In your packet, you do have the post-prom rules. That weekend is May 11th and 12th. The only thing really that changed in the rules was, it's pretty much stayed the same for a few years here, is one of the things that we added in there is when we do have students that come as a guest or they're an underclassman, we just noted that they are eligible for the games, you know, because what we do at post-prom is we have all these games blow-ups, and the more the kids play the games, they get tickets. So then they take those tickets and they can put them in certain prizes. So we wanted to make sure everybody was eligible for those, you know, just to be able to put those in there. So we just made that one tweak, but other than that, the event goes from midnight to 4. We'll have local law enforcement there just as a precaution. Parents have already signed up, and I've shared this with our advisory council a few times that in the junior parents, this junior class of volunteer parents and students is phenomenal. They just volunteer like there's no tomorrow, so it's made Community Ed's job a lot easier. So we appreciate that. Community Ed Steak Fry, April 26th. If you'd like to come, let us know. We have tickets. Glyndon Community Center, 6 to 11. So it's going to be a fun time.
Anybody that's out there that wants a ticket, I have them in my...
Yeah, Sandy does. Any questions for us?
Just one, since
Yes.
the post-prom is after midnight, should this be listed as...
You know,
a
Ronnie,
also?
we always say that, but we have the parents and students start usually coming about 11:30. So that's why I say on here, weekend of May 11th, 12th, because it kind of starts on that Saturday and ends on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So we could change it to May 11th, 12th, 2019. I'm indifferent if we want to, just so that we have it covered if you prefer. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 6.3 board committee reports. Lindsay, did you just want to touch base on the
Sure.
budget a little bit? And
We went over the revised budget. Did you hand this out to everybody, Brian? Did you hand out to...
Who doesn't?
So,
Ronnie, David.
yeah. So Brian just highlighted a few things that we went over in the budget.
Oh, you have it?
I don't think you had it in our packets.
We had it last week.
You
I got it tonight.
I'm good.
There we go. Just kind of highlighted some of the things, the different, you know, where we are as far as in the red, and, you know, the programs that are in the black, and kind of how maybe some creative budgeting for taking salaries out. We might be doing that.
For next year.
For next year. And then just to remember that the land that we purchased will be going into next year's budget as well, so that's split between the two. I think that was about it.
Yeah, and only maybe special ed would be the only expansion potential in the future. No other departments.
I have not had any requests for anything other than special ed at this point.
And that will be, in April, we'll be moving forward and having discussions, setting class sections of classes in April for next year, and whether or not we need to reduce some probationary teachers or not. So that is about it.
Anything to add, Laura?
No.
All right, we'll move on to 6.4, the superintendent report.
Okay, just a few things. As of today, the full building in Glendon, full access as far as the roof issues and all of that. So I believe James talked to Wayne about it to make sure that as far as the exit over here on the south side and so on. So that's good news. So far, so good on the thawing, and hopefully we won't have a late March storm to deal with that caused problems. Regarding a couple of the issues tonight as far as the calendar, so the plan is the food service staff have 2 days to make up, and so they're planning on having them come in on April 22nd, because that was they have 2 days just because they don't have the same amount of days as the rest of the teaching staff. So they have 2 overall days to make up. And the plan is April 22nd and then June 3rd on that Monday for them, because they weren't scheduled as many days. So that's why they already haven't had the June 3rd or April 22nd as part of their calendar. Where the other ones, all of our teaching staff and everybody else has those days already, but food service doesn't. So that's why I want to make that distinction for them. Certified staff, what we're proposing, and we'll talk about with the action item, but instead of extending the school year, we would be proposing not to have the students make up the days, so that we don't use Good Friday and we don't go any further into June, but we would have the staff make up the 2 days that we lost for last week. We are proposing, we've had discussions at the admin leadership cabinet level, and I've asked the principals to start having the discussions with their site teams, and with this next week they have the Birth to 5 and 6 to 12 meetings, and we'll finalize, but I am going to give you a copy of, so this will give you a general idea on how people would be making this time up. There's basically 14 and a half hours to make up for the 2 days. That's the actual working hours, because they have a 7 3/4 hour contract. 30 minutes is lunch. So we subtract that, we have 14 and a half hours. And so what we're doing is, and I've asked the staffs, if you've got some other ideas, start thinking about things that we could be looking at that can show the level of accountability for the time. So for instance, you see tech camp. Well, we have a lot of staff go to that in June, and they don't get paid for it, but this way, this is acknowledging the fact that they're spending their own time on it. So these are very easy to have accountability for the time. So tech camp. Infinitech is what we use for professional development to meet those clock hour requirements. And the clock hours are produced, they have to take a quiz to get the clock hours.
That's online.
That's online. And it works very well to meet those clock hour requirements. And again, it's very easy to show the accountability, because you got to pass the quiz before you can get the clock hours. And people can also use their personal time or comp time so this is just giving a full potpourri of, here's options. So the bottom line is, in our proposal, it's not adding student contact days, but tracking. Every staff member would turn in a spreadsheet that they would show exactly which ones they made up and what days, and everything has to be pre-approved if it's time working in the classrooms or PLCs and such. So again, easy to track from an administrative standpoint, making sure that the public knows, yes, we are making up the time as adults. Questions on that as far as that list? And again, there will be a few more that'll be added.
Okay, there may be something
Yep.
else that they might come across, and then they just get
Exactly.
approval from their
Exactly, because there's some professional development opportunities in the FM area. Constantly, they have some night sessions on, like, let's say, poverty and such. So if people attend those, they simply come back with that. They get approval for it. They're doing it on their own time.
Right.
And then that way they track that time. And so most of the times you just bring the agenda back showing that you were there for it.
Right. But you get the approval first.
But you get the approval first. So it's got to be something that is pertinent to our teaching for professional development. So that's the plan, and again, you'll take action on that tonight if you approve that plan. So I wanted you to see the types. The rest of you may not be aware, but both Sandy and I received notification from EMDGF to begin negotiations. And I did speak with Tony Soderberg today and said, you know, typically we have not gone into the negotiations, start looking at compensation and those things until we get done with the legislative session, so we know what kind of funds we're going to be getting. However, we have a unique situation. Those of you who are on negotiations before know that we have some very pertinent language regarding unrequested leave, ULA, and so I spoke with Tony about, you know, maybe that is something that we should start looking at in April, is start putting together some of the board members and some of the union to start addressing the ULA issue, because it isn't going to be a simple process. We're going to have lots of discussions to make that, to get that ready. So that would really be the only thing that we would be looking at starting before the end of the school year. Okay? As Lindsay mentioned, April will be, so the process on everything associated with personnel staffing for next year and our capital requests. Over the course of the next week, we have the district-wide meetings, we have staff meetings, we have district-wide meetings coming up. So we'll be taking recommendations from the site level, bring it to the district level for capital, and talk about the staffing, how many sections we're looking at proposing, so that the board can take action on this at the second April meeting. That'll give us time in between to make sure that people have a voice at the site level, at the district leadership level, and then bring that forward with recommendations to the board committee. Second board meeting in April, then board can approve those budgets and what projects we'd be looking at, so that we can get going on the summer projects and start lining up who's going to do the work. We need to really get that going in April. Last question.
Are we able to have a little bit of a work session?
We have a work session scheduled in April, and we'll talk about that tonight when we get into the work session tonight, because there's a second work session set up in April.
I don't see it on the 27th.
It's not on there, but it's in our, from our work with Dr. Hill. So what I wanted to get you, the last thing I have, you all should have, did everybody get the email from MREA?
Mm-hmm.
You should have gotten an email this morning from them.
About the different laws?
Yes, about the updates. There's a couple in particular, other than Lindsay definitely did the testifying on the bill with the egg to school credit. And if that gets up to 100%, that would be wonderful. You know, even if it gets somewhere between 40 to 100, it'll help. Anything will help. That's an increase. So, you know, I think everybody's up to speed on that one. This one just came up very recently. So I'm going to give you copies. This is a set. Each of these are sets. So the first one is House File 692. And if you can pass these around that one. So House File 692 is funding that would allow, outside of the regular school day and school year, for CTE. Now, the second one, and I'm just going to give you cliff notes on this one, because they're all, these are just single ones. This is House File 73. And again, it's in your MREA update. Both of these, the second one, House File 73, is the same type of extended day, extended year funding, except it expands it, besides vocational programming, to CTE and STEM. Why that's important, if you think about a career academy, right now, the only way that we can have extended day funding is through an ALP, an Area Learning Program, or an ALC, Area Learning Center. That means students have to be behind credits. They have to meet those qualifiers to take more credits. This is a huge opportunity for all of our students, because it means if we do expanded programming in the VOTEC fields and in STEM, we can actually offer these programs at night and during the summer and get full funding from the state. It generates the pupil units the same way. So these are two real critical files I think we want to track as we look at our plans for the STEM and our Career Center. This is a funding stream that has not been available before. The only extra outside of the school day funding that we could access before was if students were behind credits. Now we're able to do this on experiential programming. So think about the fact that if you had students that wanted to go into a welding program, into a program through the community colleges, now they can actually take their regular school year and take the courses during the summer and generate the pupil units so that they get the credits during the summer if they want to finish the program quicker, and it's generating the revenue from the state to the school districts. So it really opens up the door to program expansion at the high school level. It's a game changer. So we'll talk about it more if this becomes reality. So I want you to be aware that that is in the MREA report so that you can track that. That's it.
All right, any questions on that? Okay, hearing no questions, we will move on to 7.1, the approval of the March 11th regular meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Amy, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Laura. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Looking at 7.2, the approval of the March 18th special meeting. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion by Raleigh. Is there a second?
I'll second.
By Ronnie. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Give the same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to the consent agenda under business under 8.1.
Board bills this time around $146,323.97.
Thank you. In your packet is the treasurer's report, the Minnesota liquid asset, the activities account, and donations as presented. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to 9.1, post-prom rules. That was in your packet. And Tracy just said about the one minor change in that post-prom. Did you want to change the dates on that, Ronnie, or are you just gonna?
Well, it's fine. I just thought the way the time read, if somebody just read it, they might be confused. If you want to say 11 through 12 at the top, that would probably be better, but it's all taken out, that's fine.
Okay, so looking for a motion to approve it as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by David. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Same
Can I ask
sign?
one question, actually?
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay.
On there, it says that interested citizens can,
Yeah.
do they just ask, and how do they get
They can
approval
come.
for that?
Nope, they can just come, we invite parents and staff if they want to come.
Oh, okay, well, it just said interested citizens, so I
Yeah.
was like, just
Just kind of
anybody
open it up,
from,
But then
okay.
we've never had anybody.
Okay, I just was curious, I
So
read that and I was like.
if somebody pulls up in a stalker van,
Yeah, they're like, yeah, come on in.
Yeah.
No, okay, just checking.
No. We have one parent that works the door, and I don't think anybody would get in or get out.
Okay, so we will move on to 9.2. This is the 1920 school calendar. Any comments?
So the big change was putting in the storm
Storm
makeup
days.
days.
Yep.
And we added in, today I added in the November 27th. That was, and I think, I sent out an email to the full admin cabinet. I think people had just forgotten that, well, what if we have something before Thanksgiving? Let's make sure that that Wednesday would be the one to make up. If there would be a exactly, I'd rather be prepared for it.
Yeah,
I like these makeup days better.
I definitely like it in the calendar.
Yeah.
Not putting it in.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you. All right, looking for a motion to approve the 1920.
I'll move.
Ronnie? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Raleigh. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 9.3, this is the non-certified contract for Kayla Walker, Food Services, effective March 12th.
So moved.
Motion by Amy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Laura. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to 9.4 with a heavy heart, the approval of the
Do we really have to do this?
retirement of Grandma Cindy.
You want to table it for 6 months?
A year, I was thinking a year.
Your grandkids are gonna love it. Yeah, they're gonna love you for that. So, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay. Is there a second?
Second.
Begrudgingly,
David? All those in favor say aye.
aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 9.5, this is the school calendar changes. Brian had talked about it during his superintendent report on how changes will be done. The students will not be making up that time. Staff will be making up their hours with pre-approval of the things that they would attend. Anything else to add to that?
No, we just need the board to officially approve that so that Brooke can update in Mars and in the Mars system how many student contact days we actually will have now.
Is everyone fine?
We're still.
And we're fine
plenty
on
good for the
funding.
hours and stuff,
All the
so-
students will still generate a full pupil units.
Is everyone fine? Okay, looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by David. Is there a second?
That was Ronnie. Was it David or Ronnie?
It was
Oh, was
David.
it? It sounded like Ronnie.
It was David, that's okay.
Let's split
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Raleigh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This is the 9.6. This is, we actually are going into a closed session to discuss the disciplinary action appeal grievance. So we will be leaving.
Go over to the high school conference room. Probably need 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, looking at the time right now is 6:59. Hold on. I don't know where my agenda thing went. Okay.
Yeah, 9.7 now. It'll be.
All right, it is 7:26. The meeting is back in session. We will move on to 9.7. This is the EM DGF grievance, appeal of disciplinary action, looking for a motion to either approve or deny.
I make a motion to deny.
There's a motion to deny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
David will second. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion being denied, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion is denied. Moving on to 10.1, Operations Committee report, or I mean, not report, the committee is at 5 o'clock on April 8th, followed by the school board meeting, April 8th. Right after this, we have a work board session with Dr. David Hill. Yes, wherever he is. He's there somewhere. Okay. He's on the couch. All right.
So we need like about a 5-minute break in between so we can get the
anything
sandwiches in here and all those fun things.
Okay. It is 7:28. Meeting is adjourned.